Yogah Karmasu Kaushalam.
Friends, once again we are meeting and I'm very happy to see all of you. I know that you can see me, I can't see you. Yes, I see you through our discussion forum. I see the comments, I see the responses, I see the queries, I see the questions and lot of other things. I'm very thankful to the friends who are making our interaction very lively, who are making the discussion forum real discussion. And I'm very happy for your comments. I'm trying my best to respond to the comments. Maybe there are few comments which I have to pass on to the experts and they will reply you meantime. They may take some time and they will respond it to you. But I'm very sure that the responses will come to your comments and whatever queries you have. Dr. Shaurya Brahmpat has very interestingly discussed how to teach prose. He has created an ambience where you can think of teaching and learning prose can happen. So I'm thankful to Dr. Shaurya Brahmpat. Shaurya, will you try to summarize what exactly you have covered today for our friends? So there is one theory, Shaurya, I would like to tell you. You may be aware of it.
Please.
That once you if you want to remember something, there is a very easy way that you begin with a summary,
Yes.
then you read the main text and then you leave it for some time, then again you summarize it or
yes,
read the summary,
yes, that
and
helps
that
us.
helps you a lot.
Absolutely.
So we would like to practice it today. I would like to request Shaurya ji that please try to summarize it in few points that what we have discussed today for our participants.
Yes, friends, in this module we have discussed what is prose, the difference between prose and poetry, the varieties of prose, and the different forms of prose. In different form of prose, we have in detail we have discussed what is short story, what is novel, what is fiction, what is non-fiction, etc., etc. Then we have also discussed about the figure of speech, which are mostly important to understand prose, not poetry. So we have covered 6 major figure of speech in this module. And apart from that, the most important point which we have discussed here, that how to develop a educational material and educational methods through which we can involve the students for understanding prose. In the beginning of this program, Dr. Jagdish Joshi has said that we are not a teacher, we are a facilitator. So we are supposed to bring them to the text. We have to teach them not to read the lines, but we have to make them aware to read between the lines and read beyond the lines. So these are the main points which we have covered in this module. I hope that this new method will help you to execute in your classroom. It may possible that something spectacular may not come, but we know as a teacher, those students who have natural love for literature, for words, may definitely shine one day.
Very true, Shaurya. And you have rightly summarized things. I was looking at the video and it's really very interesting what you have talked about. I would like to tell something to my friends about prose and about these new forms of literature. Friends, I would like to tell you that you must have read a lot about book and may have read many books. So book is something which is very familiar to us. Nowadays we are going ahead from book to e-books. Again, almost similar, but converted into a digital form. Then the next stage of it, which we are familiar, I guess all of you are familiar with, is audiobook. So books are getting converted into audios. There are various platforms where you find free audiobooks, as well as there are various platforms where you find paid audiobooks. I would like to tell you something about very interesting form, and that is VOOK. It is written as VOOK. And I'll try to show you what it is. Exactly, this VOOC is a mixture of a text, video, and audio.
Yes.
You have a platform, and on a platform you try to read. The platform means any screen you can use. When I say screen, that means it can be a mobile, it can be a tab, it can be a laptop, it can be a desktop, or any kind of screen which you are using. Nowadays we use even television connected with internet also. So on that screen, when you go to VOOC and you start reading it, there may be quite a few paragraphs. Say for example, you read 2-3 paragraphs. After 2-3 paragraphs, the story goes on with audio. It is nothing is written, you have to listen to it. So you listen to some dialogues between two characters or like that, and then after that what comes is, after that comes a video. You are reading something, then you are listening something, and then there is a video. You look at the video maybe for 5 minutes, 10 minutes though. So the story goes on with the video, and then again some text comes. So you read to the text, and then again there is maybe a video or audio or a text. So mixture of all this, they together create a VOOC. And that is very interesting, friends. You may try something. We'll try to show details of the VOOC, how you can use it on the screen also. So that will also be very interesting for you. Now, before we conclude our session today, there are few things which come to my mind on behalf of my participants.
Yes.
Shauryaji, what we do is every time, based on whatever you have discussed, I change my role. I try to become a participant, and I try to look at whatever you have discussed in this module, particularly in video, and whatever queries or question come to my mind, I'll try to keep it to you, or I would like to I request you to address those questions so that our friends can be benefited out of it. The first thing which comes to my mind is, you said that reading nowadays, reading the main text is very less. That's what happens by the students. So what strategy we can apply, or how we can make them understand the text in a better way?
Because generally, if you see the psychology of a student, they most of the time they depend on the class notes and the lecture notes. So somewhere we miss that opportunity to bring students to the text. So in this module, as I said, that we should start teaching prose in a way with some questions, with the discussion of the title of the text, or some characters or the situation, and the involvement of the students is the first and foremost criteria to bring their interest and or to arise their interest for the text, which inspired them to read and go to the text. So this is the first thing, I think.
Very true. It is an interesting device, I guess, that will bring them to the text, and at least they will look at the text. Maybe they can use any form of the text, whatever they want to use, but they will read text and they will come close to the text. Very true.
Because reading lines is the first step. Reading between the line is the second step, and reading beyond the line is the third step. So first of all, it is our duty to take them to the first step, that they read the lines.
Very true. And sir very rightly pointed out, because see, the aim of higher education is to imbibe higher order thinking in them. So we teach them, one of the function is higher order thinking. Let them lead to the higher order thinking, and that's how we can lead them. So when they read beyond the lines, higher order thinking happens. So very true, I guess. It is very important,
because when sometimes it happens when we talk about a lecture method. So generally teachers, when we deliver a lecture on a text particularly, so student receives the understanding and feelings of a teacher as a main text.
Very true.
And somewhere students may have his own interpretation.
Very true.
And if we give as a teacher our interpretation and ask them to understand and imbibe this and absorb this understanding, then somewhere we are missing out the aim of higher education.
Very true. I would like to point out something very interesting here to you friends, and I would like to discuss with Shaurya ji. I'll request him for his input also. Friends, you may be aware of a very famous critical essay of Stanley Fish. Is there a text in the class?
Yes.
So here he talks about, and there are many philosophers or there are many critics who talked about such versions of philosophy and critical thoughts, that there are different versions of the text. The first version may be a version which comes to the mind of the author. He may think of something, then he comes out with the words, that is whatever he writes. There are many theories, so you can relate it to any of them. Then something comes on a pen and paper which he writes, and then something which we read. So exactly when a reader reads it, That is a version of the reader, not the version of the writer.
Yes.
So when I read a text, my reading of the text can be different. When you read a text, your version of the text can be different. So you reminded me of this,
And
I guess.
that is the beauty of art and literature.
Very true.
So every time it comes with a new meaning. Every
Very
time
true.
it comes with a new message, and that is the beauty. So as a teacher, we should not stick to the one meaning and interpretation of a
Very
text,
true.
but every time it comes with a new.
This is
thing.
also a very good suggestion of Shaurya ji. Friends, I guess you must be practicing this, but if you are not, you can try this. Give some passages to them and then let us try to look at that how they interpret these passages. Give them some context and try to see to it that how they interpret this. Let me give a very simple example. Just tell them that the story begins with a poor boy. There is a poor boy and who is walking. Now this is a simple sentence. There are only two sentences: poor boy and walking, and or coming or walking, you can call him. And then you just tell them that now you are a director of a movie and you have to create a scene of this, that there is a poor boy and he's coming towards you. Now ask them very specific question: what the poor boy is wearing. Now there will be different answers of this from each student. What he is wearing. Ask them specifically what kind of clothes he is wearing. Ask specifically that whether he has shoes in his, whether he is wearing shoes or not,
Yes.
or shoes or chappal or what he is wearing. And then ask them that how his face looks like. So these are very few questions, but here there will be a lot of creativity and there will be a lot of interpretation.
Yes, yes.
There will be people who will say that the poor boy is wearing torn shoes
Yes.
or worn shoes, or some will say no, he is wearing a chappal which is broken.
Might be barefoot.
Or yes, or somebody will say might be barefoot. Some people will say he is wearing old clothes, he is wearing dirty clothes, or some people will say he has minimum clothes.
Hungry or not
Or hungry, yeah, and sometimes torn clothes or,
Yes.
or whatever.
Very well.
So this will create lot of imagination and this will create lot of interpretation. So this is how everybody interprets a text.
Sir, you have understood the things a very nice way and put the things in a summarized in very nice way, that as we discussed in a module, a source story, The Last Leaf, and there we have discussed that when we read the title, the very title of the source story, The Last Leaf, what comes in our mind?
Very true.
Have you ever seen a tree we might have seen a tree without leaf or with so many leaves, but with a single leaf? What is the last leaf? So,
Very true, very true.
What is it significant? What is the significance? What comes in your mind? Through which, by discussing certain questions, we may get the attention of a student for the text, and that may inspire them to read.
Very true. Shaurya, I would like to thank you on behalf of UGC Human Resource Development Center of Gujarat
Thank you, sir.
University.
Thank you, sir.
I would like to thank you on behalf of Ministry of Human Resource Development Center's National Resource Center of Gujarat University, who is running this program called ARPIT, Annual Refresher Program in English Language Teaching. I would like to thank you on behalf of my team of ARPIT who is working for this.
Thank you, sir.
And I would like to thank especially you on behalf of all the participants who are watching you and who will really learn a lot out of this discussion. Exactly, I should not use the word learn, I feel, but they will try to experiment many things out of this discussion, whatever
This
happened
is a
here.
collective yagna.
Yes, very true. So, thank you very much, Shaurya. Thank you very much. Namaste.
Namaste.